呢一個反暴力反仇視大遊行嘅現場啦。咁樣咧，而家仲有1分鐘咧，就會喺呢個大遊行第一站聖瑪莉廣場咧，就開始呢個活動。咁一陣間咧，三藩市市長布里德咧就會上台講話啦。咁現場咧已經好多人嚟到㗎啦，好多唔同嘅組織同埋團體啦。咁佢哋咧都已經準備好佢哋嘅橫額啦。一啲韓裔人士、韓裔嘅團體都已經喺度㗎啦。咁咧亦都會見到咧，有啲人士咧就著住一啲嘅 T-shirt 啦，上面咧就會寫住一啲反歧視、反暴力嘅字句，咁咧就支持呢一個遊行嘅。咁今日咧，我就會帶住大家咧，行晒成個遊行嘅。今日咧，其實天氣都幾熱嘅，但係都冇阻大家咧參與呢一個遊行。
佢叫你執晒啲啦，因為我打
已經直播緊㗎啦。
呢個點樣啊？
올 때 그럼 그 버스 있으면 같이 타고. 응? 올 때 버스가 있다 그러면 가고. 안 그러면은. 그러면은 있지만 저는 이거 확 좋진 않아요. 아니야 요새는 그거밖에 안 돼. 그거밖에 그렇게 말하면 안 돼. 아니 나 여기다 넣어야지. 그럼 달린 거 해가면
去呢度入面。印咗兩單。
OK， thank you。 咁首先咧，我嚟交代一下咧呢個遊行嘅第一站先啦。咁咧，我哋嚟到呢一個聖瑪莉廣場聖 Mary Square。咁咧就由呢個慰安婦正義聯盟咧主持為逝去嘅死難者所舉行嘅悼念儀式啦。咁啊喺3月16號咧，一名21歲嘅白人男子咧就喺亞特蘭大嘅水療中心槍殺咗8名人士啦，其中7人咧係亞洲人，而6名咧係婦女。咁所以咧，首先第一站先嚟到呢度咧，為到死難者咧去舉行呢一個悼念儀式嘅。而家現場咧真係十分之多人啊！大家咧都喺度等待緊咧呢一個活動嘅開始。咁我而家企高啲咧，就俾你哋睇得清楚成個活動。你可以大家都睇到好多人。咁咧啱啱入到嚟咧，直播嘅朋友咧，大家好啦，歡迎即係睇我哋呢個星電視 YouTube 嘅直播啦。咁咧，我哋今日咧呢個活動咧就係一個非常大嘅活動，叫做反暴力反仇視嘅大遊行啦。咁就會由朝頭早嘅11點開始，去到晏晝嘅2點結束嘅。咁咧呢個活動咧就係亞裔人士聯同韓裔啦、猶太裔啦、西裔同埋各個種族咧去抗議嘅。咁啊，基於因為美國最近真係發生好多亞裔社區種族歧視同埋暴力嘅事件，活動似乎要開始啦。咁咧而家咧就講緊話咧，所有在場人士咧都需要社交距離啦，因為地下咧貼咗啲藍色嘅貼紙。
我哋要保持社交距離。上個禮拜喺輝如角，市府都好關心，即係我哋冇社交距離。咁所以咧，我哋一定要保持社交距離。請你睇下個地下有冇藍色嘅貼紙，冇藍色嘅你唔可以喺地下度 ，OK？ 咁就我哋喺外面咧，外面外面嗰度可以喺嗰度站。大家好，大家。Oh, we have some speakers that we would like you to step forward. So step forward so we know you are present. It's Hello, I have another microphone. I got Michelle. That's wonderful. We'd like to have the speakers come forward so that we know you're here. Assemblyman David Chu is here. I see him. And is Myrna, Supervisor Myrna here? My supervisor, District 7. Myrna Melga. She's not here yet. And Mr. Sito 先生，總統，請你企喺前邊。And Dr. Jonathan Kim, would you please step up here? And Mark, you are here. Who else? Commissioner Larry Yee, please step up. Gloria
Oh, you know,
Golden Mars.
Gordon Meyer is here. Where's Eric? Anyway, Gordon, would you please step up in front of the podium? Is Gloria La Riva here? Not yet. Okay, we're going to start. Not everybody's here yet, but we will start. My name is Judge Lillian Singh. I am so happy to see so many of you here today. Today, we're here to mourn the victims of the Atlanta massacre, where 7, ladies and gentlemen, not 6, Asian women were killed. The media kept saying 6, but it was really 7. One of the 7 victims has a last name Clark, and she was married to a white man. Her ethnicity is Asian. So we had 7 Asian women killed in Atlanta, 1 man. So the victims range from age 74 to age 33. So sad. We are here today also to say we will not allow the bullies and the racists to intimidate us, to frighten our elders, and to kill our women. What happened in Atlanta revolted many of us. But unfortunately, it was yet another attack in the long history of white supremacy and anti-Asian violence that has plagued our country. We know Asian hate existed and yellow peril fear have always been present throughout the history of the United States. And during times of war, pandemic, economic downturn, it gets worse. The racism was exacerbated by the Trump administration blaming China for the COVID-19. We know it has been terrible for all of us. President Biden spoke up against violence against Asian Americans. But what we need is action from the President of the United States. We want President Biden to develop a better U.S.-China relationship and return U.S.-China friendship so that we will have a better place in the world and a better place for all of us in the United States. Our lives in the United States is always better when U.S.-China relationship is better. We want a better and safer United States. We are sickened by what is going on. We are disgusted by the bullies that attack our precious, defenseless elders. We're revolted by what has happened. Today, we unite in strength and we say no more violence, no more Asian hate, no more sexism. We will not take it sitting down. Will we? No. We will not take it. No. We will start with a quiet vigil for the victims of Atlanta because we will also have 3 different starting points. We have starting points in Portsmouth Square, and then a 3rd group starting at City Hall. And all 3 groups will march to Union Square. So we have a huge activity today. Over thousands of people will be united today to say no more violence, no more anti-Asians, no more sexism. Today is a day of solidarity, a day of strength, and a day of unity. Please help us by making it successful. By observing social distancing, please look down on the floor, stand only where there's a blue mark so that we observe social distancing, and please wear your mask. In our march to Union Square, we will be joined by cops on motorcycles and 2 ambulance cars. So we'll be really united and be safe. Thank you so much, everybody.
Good morning, San Francisco. I'm Jonathan Kim. On behalf of the Jin-Deok and Kyung-Shikim Foundation, more than 2 million Korean Americans, Comfort Women Justice Coalition, and 13 victims of all communities around the world. And we stand here today to condemn the racism and hate crimes against Asian must stop. In 2020, hate crimes decreased. However, hate crimes against Asian in major U.S. cities have increased more than 149%, close to 150%. Our parents, mothers, fathers, aunties, uncles, and our children have been assaulted, insulted, and harassed and killed. Enough is enough. Stop Asian hate. Stop Asian hate. Stop Asian hate. Hate is a virus. Hate is a virus. Stop racism, sexism, and violence. Also, we are here to condemn Professor Ramjier's recent statement stating that comfort women were prostitutes. Mitsubishi professor of Japanese legal studies at Harvard Law School, John Mark Ramjier's depiction of comfort women as willing and well-paid prostitutes denies the substantial body of scholarship, which body of scholarship that scholarship denies the substantial body of scholarship that yeah, okay. And then please join us in boycotting all Mitsubishi products, including TV, cars, and electric products, such as AC and HVAC. Thank you very much for your support.
First of all, can you get off the planter? Because we're not allowed to step inside the planter at all. Be very, very careful and to protect the environment. I'm retired Judge Julie Tang. I'm one of the organizers here, and I'm really satisfied and gratified to see so many of you showing up. Today is Stand Up, Speak Up Day. We get together to mourn the Asian victims of hate crime. In particular, we mourn the 7 Asian women who were brutally gunned down. When they showed up to work or went to the spa for the massage, they had no idea that they were going to die on that day. And that's how hate crimes rise. They just catch you at any turn and everywhere, and you just cannot be prepared for it. Our community has to unite. And I can assure you that in spite of all the differences of opinion, political persuasion, your own personal philosophy, whatever you stand for, we are all here to unite behind one thing, and that is to stop Asian violence. Now, I think that the fact that after the murder was arrested and the officer reported that he was having a bad day and that he was having sexual issues really put the issue in framing the issue into a white supremacist agenda that has dominated and permeated our society for so long. It is important for us to remember sex and women are always associated with Asian women. They use that to denigrate women, in particular Asian women in this society and in the history of the world. And that's why it is really appropriate that we will remember those Asian women today in this wonderful memorial stadium here. And we also will do the best we can to take it as a lesson, another lesson in history, to continue our advocacy against violence against women and sexual enslavement. Those women did not die in vain. They inspired and encouraged us to forge ahead to demand justice because they took the bullet for us, at least for now. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next portion of our program is a very solemn program. We mourn the victims of the Atlanta massacre. We are revolted by the assault on our seniors throughout the United States. We mourn for those who have died as a result of hatred. Right now, our program of mourning will be started by Susanna E. Susanna, 89-year-old grandmother, Iki Oi Kwan, was beaten in 2019 in Visitation Valley Playground. I know some of you are from the Visitation Valley. So She died in 2020 from her injuries. So Susanna Lee will be the master of ceremony in helping us mourn and remember the victims of the Atlanta massacre. My name is Susanna Yi. I'm the proud granddaughter of Nick Oi Hwang, Mourn. And it is an honor to be invited here to offer a blessing for those lives who have been taken in Atlanta and for all the lives that have been taken through injustice and racism. I invite you to take a moment of stillness as I light these incense and as I acknowledge So we first acknowledge that we are on the unceded ancestral homeland of the Ramaytush Ohlone, who are the original inhabitants of the San Francisco Peninsula. As guests, we recognize that we benefit from living and working on their traditional homeland. We wish to pay our respects by acknowledging the ancestors, elders, and relatives of the Ramaytush community and by affirming their sovereign rights as First People. I also acknowledge the Asian women from Atlanta, Georgia. Tan Xiaojie, Hong Daoyou, Park Sung-chung, Kim Sun-cha, Yu Yong-ye, Kim Hong-jung, Delana Ashley Yun, and also a man who was killed, Paul Michaels. And now, I'd like to invoke my grandmother, Yik Oi Hwang. Her name, Yik Oi, means abundant love. We gather here today in love for each other, for our humanity, and to recognize that we belong, Asians belong, here and everywhere. And this is my grandmother's blessing. And I invite you to take a pause, either with your eyes closed or a gentle gaze, as you take this in, take this moment in. Grandmother's blessing says, when you've been beaten down, when you are hurt and anguished and in confusion, imagine, feel her hand on your cheek, and you can place one hand on your cheek. She soothes you. She tells you you will be okay. She tells you you can cry. Grandmother tells you you can scream. You are safe. You are seen. You are seen. You are wanted. Grandmother strokes your cheeks and say, you are enough. You are loved. You belong. You belong. And you will rise again. Grandmother is here. All the names that I have previously stated are here with us. Please, ancestors, help us to open our hearts, to soften our hearts, to let the healing waters to flow and to soothe the pain. Amidst the hurt and anguish and confusion, we are feeling all of this. Let us find strength in this moment. This is our moment.
invite you to take a deep breath in. Your hands can be around your abdomen, around your stomach. And as you take a deep breath, move your arms upward to the sky and take a look at the great big sky that we are under. As Bruce Lee says, we are one family under the sky. And as you exhale, bring your arms down to your belly. And we'll just do this 2 more times. Inhaling deeply. Stretch your arms all the way up, connecting with the universe. And exhaling, bring our arms down, holding grandmother's energy and all the energy of the Asian women who have been taken into your hearts. One more time, inhale deeply, raise your arms, lift your chest open and receive, and bring the arms down. Bringing your arms into your chest and really embracing yourselves. Since we cannot hold each other, we hold ourselves and feel each other's love. Feeling all the women who heal, feeling all of the comfort that mothers and grandmothers and aunts and sisters and non-binary and all the people that they provide love. Let's take one more moment in silence. Thank you. We would like to have the Korean interpreter, Ms. Sarah Han.
Now, Korean pastor Subok Lee will give a memorial speech. 임마누엘 장로교회 이수복 목사님의 추도사가 있겠습니다.
I am pastor from Korean community. This time, you want not to pray together. I will pray in Korean. 사랑과 은혜가 충만하신 하나님 아버지, 제 많은 우리들을 변함없는 하나님의 사랑으로 오늘까지 인도하여 주시고 오늘 애틀랜타 총격 희생자 추모식을 위해 이 자리에 모이게 하시니 감사합니다. 이 시간이 가슴 아프고 안타깝게 희생된 애틀랜타 총격 희생자 고인들을 한 마음으로 추모하는 시간이 되게 하여 주시옵소서. 안타깝게 희생된 희생자분들을 천국으로 맞아주시며 하나님의 품 안에서 영원히 안식을 갖게 하여 주시옵소서. 사랑이 많으신 하나님, 아직도 충격과 슬픔 속에 있는 희생자 유족들과 참담한 마음으로 여기 모인 모든 분들에게 하나님의 사랑으로 마음의 평안을 찾게 하여 주시옵소서. 성령께서 역사하심으로 슬픈 마음을 위로하여 주시옵고 마음의 상처를 치유하는 시간이 되게 하여 주시옵소서. 은혜와 평강이 많으신 하나님, 영원토록 우리의 보혜사 되시는 예수님의 사랑에 의지해서 우리 모두의 마음속에 슬픔과 어려움을 이겨내게 하여 주시옵소서. 인종차별이 멈춰지고 증오 범죄가 멈춰지고 아시안에 대한 폭력이 멈춰지도록 인도하여 주시옵소서. 우리를 죄악에서 구원하신 우리 주 예수님의 이름으로 기도하옵나이다. I pray in the name of our Lord Jesus, who saved us from sin. Amen.
Okay, thank you so much. The prayers will be heard. Our sorrows will be felt. Now, I want to tell you, we had invited the mayor to come to this square at 11 o'clock. We just heard that due to emergencies,
She may not be able to come to this square, but she will join us either here or at Union Square. But we do have some representatives from our government. I know that elected officials are really important, but one of the most important people that I'd like to introduce because of safety issues is the Chief of Police, Chief Scott.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, I want to thank the Chinese 6 companies, the Chinese Chamber of Commerce, Women's Comfort for Justice, Comfort Women's Justice, for putting this on. As I look in the crowd today, I see so many beautiful signs, and the one that sticks out to me the most, and I see several of them, is hate is a virus. Coming out of a global pandemic where so many of our fellow family members, friends, and loved ones have lost their lives to the coronavirus, hate is a virus resonates with my heart. I just left Moscone Center to get my second vaccination. And to you, I will say, as an answer to hate is a virus, that love is our vaccination for hate. And we have to love one another. We have to work together. We have to keep each other safe. Because if we do that, love is our vaccination and our inoculation to the hate that we're seeing against the Asian American community right now. And we have to stop it. We have to work together to stop it. So I have one ask of you this morning. In the San Francisco Police Department, we are with you. We are here for you. But if you would just do one thing for me this morning. Can we say together, love is our vaccination? Love is our vaccination. One more time. Love is our vaccination. Hate is a virus. Love is our vaccination. Hate is a virus. Love is our vaccination. Let's all love one another. And let me thank our Commissioner, Larry Yee, for being here and supporting us. And congratulations on your appointment to the San Francisco Police Commission. Commissioner. Thank you.
Our next speaker is California Assemblyman, one of my favorite Assemblymen, David Chu.
안녕하세요. 조선다가. Good morning. Thank you so much for gathering as community today. I want to take a moment and thank the leadership of the Chinese Consolidated Benevolent Associations representing tens of thousands of Chinese families here in the Bay Area. I want to thank the Chinese Chamber for your leadership of our business community. I want to thank our Chinese veterans who are here. I want to thank our Chinese nonprofit leaders who are here. I want to thank our Chinese labor leaders who are here. We are here standing together today to say no to the hate. I think it is so fitting that we are here on the edge of the social, cultural, political capital of the Chinese community here in San Francisco's Chinatown. And it's important to note that San Francisco's Chinatown was a community that was founded in the 19th century because of anti-Chinese hate. Because Chinese workers, Chinese residents were discriminated, were hated, were attacked. And you know this history. You know the history of lynchings of Chinese Americans that led to the Chinese Exclusion Act.
We know the history of 120,000 Japanese Americans interned on the West Coast. We know the history of the murder of Vincent Chin, the history of Muslim Americans persecuted after 9/11. The story of anti-Asian hate runs deep in our country. It's also so fitting that we are here today. I just want to give a thanks to two of the amazing founders of the Comfort Women Justice Coalition, Judges Tang and Singh. Can we give a hand to them, please? I met these two amazing judges 25 years ago when I was a young prosecutor, and they were judges overseeing the domestic violence court in this city. As we were trying to figure out then, as we are today, how do we prevent violence to women? And I think it is fitting we are here next to this statue because there was a time when government denied atrocities to Asian women. And it sounded eerily similar last week when we heard certain law enforcement officials from Georgia who believed the murderer and said he just had a bad day. We know differently. We know what has driven this over the years. We're all focused on the fact that there are over 3,800 incidents documented in our country. But we know differently. That is just the tip of the iceberg of the anti-hate that we have been experiencing. We have so much to do. And I just want to say to everyone here, thank you for coming together. Whether you are Asian or non-Asian ally, coming together today, this is what is going to allow love to conquer hate. This is what is going to allow us to stand for justice for our victims. This is what is going to allow us to stop the spread. And let me just conclude by saying, again, it's fitting we're next to this statue. This statue, the column of strength. When we come together, we are stronger than when we stand alone. Each of us alone could be attacked out on the street, could be the next victims of hate, could experience that virus of discrimination. But together we are stronger. Together we will prevail. Together love will conquer. Thank you very much.
At this time, we're going to invite the president of the Chinese Consolidated Benevolent Association to come up here, as well as Grace Yuan, who represents the Chinese Chamber of Commerce. Please bring your delegate of leadership, but we will only hear from two speakers, and that is 司徒仲生先生同埋Grace Yuan 小姐，佢哋兩個會演講，其他嗰啲領袖班可以上嚟一齊企埋喺嗰個台嗰度。
Hello. 各位僑胞們，大家好。針對目前對亞裔婦女連續嘅仇視暴力同埋槍殺個事件，喺呢度舉行一個追思哀悼個儀式。更難得嘅係，按照我哋嘅傳統習俗，嚟到喺呢度誦經超度，往生淨土，讓逝者安息，在者歸也。喺呢度用呢個形式發出我哋抗議之聲。僑胞們，特別係婦女嘅僑胞們，我哋深深知道喺現在婦女不但喺家庭中，而且在社會上各個領域同埋各行各業之中，都佔着重要嘅職務同埋嘅角色。最顯淺，我哋有兩個女法官，市長又係女性，副總統又係女性。所以啊，你哋喺呢個社會呢，現在嘅社會啊，你哋佔咗半邊天，你哋嘅地位不斷嘅提高。 我哋不能社會不能再用舊嘅眼光、陳舊嘅意識看待貢獻良多嘅佔咗半邊天嘅婦女嘅貢獻，更加不能喺美國，因為係少數族裔就可以隨意做到槍殺。喺呢次嘅集會，讓我哋嘅呼聲響徹呢個社會，聲好呢個罪人，以我哋嘅行動反抗仇視，反擊暴力，爭取權益，為創立一個和平共處、人人平等嘅和諧社會，為我哋嘅子孫後代安逸謀幸福。喺呢度我哋國父請舉起你雙 hand， 反抗暴事，反抗仇視，反抗暴力，
反抗暴力，
還我權益，反抗仇視，反抗暴力，還我權益。多謝。
Hi. Hello, good morning. And Mr. Sito already said it all. And today is very hot, and I don't want to make a long speech. But like we said, we have to stop the violence. We have to stop Asian hate. Asian hate is a virus, and we wanted to spread the news to everybody and make us walk on the street safely. Thank you. Oh, and also, thank you that the state and the city officials are here supporting us. Stop virus. Togetherness is the important thing for us. Thank you.
Now I would like to call the president of the Kempo Women Justice Coalition, Judith Merkinson.
Hi, everybody. So glad to see so many different people here. You know, we're standing in the shadow of this incredible statue to the comfort women. The hundreds of thousands of women and girls who were sexually enslaved during World War II. So we're standing here and we're thinking about them. We're standing here and we're thinking of the women in Atlanta. We know they were not the first, and hopefully they will be the last. The last of Asian women who are sexualized and targeted for themselves, for their backgrounds, and for their gender. We have to stop gender violence. We have to stop white supremacy. We have to stop misogyny. That is what caused what happened in Atlanta. He wasn't just having a bad day. He was having a bad day that was part of his white, racist, and misogynist being. How do we end it? We end it by unity, but we end it because we eliminate impunity. We can't let people get away with gender violence or racist violence. Last summer, we saw amazing uprisings in Black Lives Matter. Today, we see amazing uprisings to end the violence against Asians and Pacific Islanders. We have to come together to end this, but we also must end the virus of gender violence. When we're standing here today, we're thinking of the comfort women and how they're still denied justice because Japan refuses to officially apologize. When we're standing here today, we're thinking of the women in the Middle East. When we're standing here today, we're thinking of the millions of indigenous and African women who were brought here in slavery. When we're standing here today, we're thinking of the women in Atlanta. And in all of that, we're saying no. No to gender violence. No to white supremacy. No to misogyny. Let's build a much better world. where our children, our grandchildren, and all those who come before us will no longer say that rape, violence, murder against people of color, against women is normal. That's how we'll end this. Thank you.
Now we'll invite Chairwoman Kim Sun-nan to the podium. 김진덕 정경식 재단 김순난 이사장님께서 희생자를 추모하며 발언하시겠습니다.
안녕하세요. 김진덕 정경식 재단 이사장 김순난입니다. 오늘 우리는 애틀란타 총격 사건으로 안타깝게 희생되신 8분을 추모하고 또한 최근 급증하고 있는 아시아계 주민들에 대한 인종차별과 혐오, 범죄를 규탄하기 위해 이 자리에 모였습니다. 우리는 지난해 코로나 바이러스라는 지금껏 겪어보지 못한 상황에 직면했습니다. 하지만 코로나 바이러스보다 우리를 더 힘들게 만든 것은 차별의 시선과 증오의 범죄들이었습니다. 저는 묻고 싶습니다. 이 세상에서 그 누가 자기 부모를 선택하고 인종과 피부색, 성별을 결정할 수 있는지. 인간의 탄생은 그 자체로 고귀하고 축복받아야 하는 일입니다. 언제 어디서 어떻게 태어났냐에 따라 차별을 받고 혐오와 증오의 대상이 된다는 것은 절대 용납되어서는 안 되는 일입니다. 우리는 이런 무고한 희생이 다시 생기지 않도록 해야 합니다. 차별을 없애고 증오에 맞서기 위해 서로 힘을 모아야 합니다. 우리가 서로 힘을 모으고 목소리를 높여 간다면 차별과 증오는 조금씩 사라질 것입니다. 저도 저희 재단도 여러분들과 함께 노력해 나가겠습니다. 다시 한번 총격에 희생되신 8분들의 명복을 빕니다. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and friends. My name is Sun-ran Kim, chairwoman of the Jindok and Kyung-Sik Kim Foundation. Today, our deepest sympathies are with the families and friends of the 8 victims in the recent shootings in Atlanta, Georgia. 7 victims were Asian American women. Recent attacks on innocent and defenseless Asian Americans are senseless hate crimes that must stop. Do we have choice of who our parents are? Do we have choice of the color of our skin? Do we have choice of the gender when we were born? No, we don't. We must stop the racism. We must stop the sexism, stop the violence. We are all humans and must use our voices together in solidarity. We must condemn these hate crimes against Asian Americans. In the days ahead, please unite with us in stopping these hate crimes and creating a better world where we can all exist in harmony. Thank you.
Now, President Kwak and President Park from Korean Community Centers will give a remark. 샌프란시스코 한인회 곽정현 회장님 그리고 실리콘밸리 한인회 션 팍 회장님께서 발언하시겠습니다.
Good morning. This is Jenny Kwak Weber, President of the Korean American Community Center in San Francisco. Thank you for being here today. And then thank you for showing our communities, lawmakers, and country that we will not tolerate racism, hate, and violence against Asians and Asian Americans any longer. We will not tolerate racist politicians that use hate speech against us. We will not stand back and watch the elders in our community be attacked and killed simply because of the color of their skin. My heart goes out to the Asian victims of the Atlanta massacre and their families. Even in the Bay Area, the alarming number of violent attacks against us has been devastating. I worry for my own safety. I worry for the safety of my family and friends. I worry for the safety of the community I serve. Asians have been discriminated against in this country for far too long. We should not be targeted for what we look like or where we came from. Hate has no place in America. Hate is a virus that continues to grow unless we stop it now. How many more of us will be abused, attacked, or killed before something is done about it? It's time to act. It's time to use our voices and our votes. Contact your local and state representatives. Ask them to support for Asian community. Educate and bring awareness to your families, to your friends, your schools, churches, workplace, social and political organizations. Stop Asian hate now. Thank you.
안녕하십니까. 실리콘밸리. 안녕하십니까. 안녕하십니까. 실리콘밸리 한인회 회장 박순나입니다. 오늘 이렇게 차이니스 계통에서 많이 오셨기 때문에 영어로 하겠습니다. I am thankful to have the opportunity to speak in front of this united group of Chinese and Korean Americans. Unfortunately, united is not something this country has had much in recent years. As the future is looking bright regarding pandemic and as we begin to return to our normal life, tragedy has struck once again. On March 16, a senseless act of violence occurred once again, ignoring the value of respecting the lives of mankind. No society is immune to destruction. Hatred, division, and racism lead to destruction. We need to continue to raise awareness for these dangerous acts. We urge stop racism, stop sexism, stop violence. I saw many signs here. Yes, must stop Asian hate. Proud of being on Asia. Something. There are many our records here. I'm proud of this community. We honor the lives of the victims whose lives have lost in Atlanta on March 16. Hopefully, they are watching us from above and are proud of our fight for equality. We will make our community safer for future generations. Thank you.
We are going to have one group of speakers and then one last speaker, Gloria La Riva, and then we're going to march to Union Square. And it's very hot here, so we're going to make it short. I'm going to ask our politicians, those who represent us, all to come before this podium and speak one at a time. Senator Scott Wiener, my supervisor, Myrna Melga, and Supervisor of District Number 4, Gordon Mourn, the brother of Eric Mall, who helped us build this memorial. So please, all of you come up.
Dagaho, Ohaicham Yun, White Single, Scott Wiener. I have the honor of representing this community in the California State Senate. I want to thank everyone who organized this today, including my good friends, Judge Lillian Singh and Julie Tang. Judge Singh was actually the judge who oversaw the very first jury trial I ever did as a young lawyer. She was very tough on me to toughen me up, but now she's being tough on racism and hate. So thank you, Judge, for everything that you do. I think for a lot of us, we've known that hate and violence against our Asian American and Pacific Islander neighbors has been here since the very beginning of this country. This is not new. But now, at last, broader society is seeing what the community has been experiencing for hundreds of years. And so we need to make sure that in addition to standing in solidarity, which we do, it's not good enough just to stand in solidarity. It's not good enough just to post on social media. We have to make change. We are working at the state level and locally to get more resources into preventing hate crimes from happening in the first place, into supporting victims of hate crimes, and making sure that we are healing as a community. So we need to all work together and make clear that this is never okay, that we're going to condemn it and we are going to act to end it now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. My name is Myrna Melgar. I'm the supervisor for District 7. Thank you so much, Judge Singh and Judge Tang, for organizing this, and to all our mothers, all our sisters, all our grandmothers, all of the women who have come before us and have suffered of oppression from the patriarchy and the racism that has excluded people in our country, even though we have all come here to build this country. Thank you so much for the recognition that our mothers deserve respect and honor. Thank you, and let's fight this virus. Let's fight racism. Let's fight misogyny. Let's fight for our honor, for our future, for respect. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Supervisor Gordon Marr, representing the Sunset District, which is a majority Asian American district in our city. And I'll keep it short because I know we all are ready to hit the streets and march against anti-Asian hate. I did want to really thank all of you for being here this afternoon, and really coming together once again, to raise our collective voice to stop the epidemic of violence, hate, and prejudice against our Asian American communities. I especially want to thank the Comfort Women Justice Coalition for all of their leadership in creating the memorial here at St. Mary's Park. This is a really powerful location and space for us to be mourning the victims, the Asian women victims and other victims of the mass shooting and hate crime in Atlanta on March 16th. And we're also here to mourn all the victims of anti-Asian violence and prejudice, including Grandma Huang, Grandpa Visha, and so many others here in the Bay Area. These issues, these problems are deeply rooted in our country, racism, and we know, and it's impacted the lives of Asian Americans and all people of color throughout our history in this country. But this moment, this is a really historic moment right now of reckoning on anti-Asian racism because of the epidemic of violence and hate that we've seen, and really fueled by the rhetoric and xenophobia of former President Trump. So I think thanks again for everyone. I did want to really acknowledge all of the community groups within our community that have been organizing for safety and justice. The 6 companies, the Chamber of Commerce, the United Peace Collaborative, community, the Coalition for Community Safety and Justice, and also Community as One, as well as the Korean community that's out here today in solidarity with us. So the elected officials and city leaders, we need to heed the urgent calls from the community for meaningful action to address the terrible situation, and we hear you. One thing that I'm doing on the Board of Supervisors, I'm holding a hearing coming up in early April at the Board of Supervisors on violence and crime targeting Asian Americans, where we'll really take stock of what we're doing as a city to address these issues and really look at what we need to be doing more aggressively and more boldly looking ahead. So thanks again, everyone, for your commitment, for your solidarity. Thank you.
We're going to bring up Gloria River to say a few words. She's with the Answer Coalition. I also wanted to emphasize that this particular video is co-sponsored by CWJC and the Jindak Kun Sik Kim Foundation. The Korean and the Chinese community have always worked very closely together in partnership to promote women's issues, and we build a memorial together. So a big shout out to the Korean community. 안녕하세요. Thank you. All right.
Thank you. 인종차별 반대. We express our deepest sorrow, and we have felt anguish in these days since the massacre of our Asian sisters, 7 women and 1 man who were murdered by a racist terrorist. It's time to call what happened in Atlanta terrorism. What happened behind this terrible rise has been the years of Trump, as we know, as soon as the pandemic started, as we know. In the first 8 weeks of the pandemic, because of his racist rhetoric, 1,800 reports of hate crimes in the United States, according to the United Nations. And it's been thousands ever since. And we bow our heads to all the victims, especially the elderly, those who've been walking individually, even here in San Francisco, who have suffered from cowards, racist cowards, who have nothing better to do than to punch someone, even resulting in murder. But we have to be honest here that President Biden, when he was running for president in the beginning of the pandemic, ran an ad, just as an example, that said Trump rolled over for the Chinese. It's not just rhetoric. It's part of the Pentagon buildup, seeking billions to this day, tens of billions, directed against China. The China bashing is not just because of the pandemic. It's been going on for years now, and it's a great danger. And the powers that be of this country historically have used racism to divide and conquer against Black people, against Asian people, against Latinos. And remember, with Trump blaming Mexicans from the beginning of his campaign, as a result, 27 people were murdered at the Walmart in El Paso 2 years ago. And now with this racism against immigrants, the children at the border, we fear that may come back again.